undetermined schools had some kind of unique local problem. Sometimes they couldn't find the files. Sometimes the files were following the children or multiple buildings. A couple places we had key personnel that were out for an extended period of time and were unable to do that. I would like to add, though, that almost without exception across Ohio, even in the 5 school districts that are mentioned as having evidence of scrubbing, we had a reasonable degree of cooperation from management of those school districts, and the Ohio Department of Education has been cooperative as we've conducted our audit. In fact, we sat for a couple hours with them reviewing this report a couple of days ago. They've been very helpful.
Is there a need for significant change at ODE? Does there need to be some kind of wholesale change of policy for the way they approach this?
Well, I think you can look at our recommendations to date in the interim report and make your own determination whether they're significant or not. Certainly think that there are significant vulnerabilities in the system as it's currently designed.
Real quickly, Dr. Harris has said publicly that after she put her staff on notice, she had no knowledge that any of this was occurring subsequent to that point. Do you have you developed any information that either can verify that or refutes that assertion?
Our work is ongoing in Columbus, and that's not part of our interim report. I'm going to have to decline to comment on that.
Laura?
Auditor, so how many people have you had on this audit, and how much is it costing roughly? And then also, I piggyback on Paul's question, which is this something that happens in the principal's office, this disenrollment, improper disenrollment, or is this at the teacher level, or where does it happen in the schools, in the individual buildings?
Great questions, Laura. Is she allowed to have multiple questions?
Well, just this one.
With regards to the number of auditors and the cost, I can get you the current numbers. In fact, Carrie, let's get that and send it out as an alert to everybody.
Okay.
So that we've got those numbers. I don't have a current number, but we're keeping track of this in our Great Plains accounting system, so I can certainly tell you pretty quickly. With regards to where did this happen, first of all, this is not a teacher issue. And I guess I should really make that clear. Not going to say that we won't find a teacher somewhere who might have been involved with this, but this is an administrative process. It may occur in the superintendent's office. It may be part of the principal's or assistant principal. It may be done by clerical staff under the direction of someone else, or perhaps the attendance officer in individual schools. The practice varies by district, and I'm not sure about it. Mark, would it be fair to say that the practice can vary by building?
Yeah, it would be by building. Yeah.
So,
why go dark 2 weeks before an election? I mean, if a school is manipulating data or not following the rules or whatever, isn't that information voters should have whenever it comes out?
the blackout period 2 weeks before an election is actually a policy that we developed with regards to our special audits and our financial audits and our performance audits. It was not developed for this particular issue. However, the basis for the policy is that while information is good, we don't want to have a situation where someone is unable to respond to something that comes out. Our parents told us that there were multiple sides to every story. We find facts, but frequently the meaning of the facts this office finds in reports are up to other decision makers to conclude what should be done about them. So it's an existing policy that we're applying to this situation, and felt that although it's a close question for reasons you suggest, the better balance was to comply with our existing policy.
Auditor, I can't quite tell from your docs, just to be clear, we're all members of the Big 8 and the Urban 21, or either both of those included, and did they all receive a determination?
You mean were all of the ones that we found part of one of those two groups, or?
Were they all included in this initial examination, and did they receive determination, or, so it's either kind of an and, both and question?
Great question. I don't know what the Urban 21 is, so I can't answer as to that. I believe that the Big A all had at least one school building that were on the list of 100. And the information, what we looked at, the names of the schools are in the report.
Jennifer?
You said you're not trying to get at intent. You're not trying to get at intent, but you've laid out lots of different motivations or different outcomes that you would have by scrubbing. Is scrubbing ever done with good intent? And are you not finding intent in your interviews? Are people not explaining to you why they have gone through this process?
Well, as to the first question, I'll give you an example. The Marion County, or Marion City School District, it's possible that an administrator could develop a policy like that with the intention of trying to give an alternative educational environment to kids who weren't doing well. And that the idea would be to improve the education of the child. I'm not saying that that was or was not the motivation, but you asked for an illustration. I would call that a good intent, even though the process was itself unlawful and improper.
Couple more questions.
You told the state board that you were going to prioritize districts that had levies on the ballot. Is this first interim report, did you hit most of the schools that are facing election decisions, or are there, do you still
No,
have?
we do not hit most of those schools.
Okay.
And we did not use that as a sorting mechanism for the 100.
Okay, any estimate as far as, you hit the majority of those before you go to that 2-week
No,
out?
because until we have the OSU model completed, I won't know how many schools we actually intend to follow up on phase 2. Until I know which schools we're going into, I can't tell whether they have a levy.
Auditor, I think I cut you off on the second part. For
Part,
Oh, I'm
part
sorry.
2 was, are you not discovering intent occasionally, at least in interviews that you're conducting?
Well, for starters, I'm not conducting the interviews, and haven't read summaries of every interview that's been conducted. So I think I would hesitate to say whether any interviews have found any evidence.
Can you say, talk a little bit more about in Columbus exactly how many school buildings